Hey everybody, just wanted to make a quick video about Jesus and Holy Spirit. I've had a couple of minor religious experiences in my life, and one of them, Holy Spirit swallowed me just for an instant, but it was so powerful, like just for that instant, everything was so easy, everything was right. Everything was fine. Everything was divine, right? And for a while, I didn't know what that was. It took a while to sink in, but I'd had two other experiences, one with Jesus and one with God. So it had to be Holy Spirit, right? And now I know exactly. I'm like, oh, that's what Holy Spirit is. And that's why people are excited, you know. And once you've been touched by these three, yeah, you understand, like, there is something to be excited about. There is a God, and you are God. You're in God. You came from God. And you go back to God. You really never left God, actually. There's nowhere to go. Because God is all that is. God is the totality, right? Anyway, so I'm doing dishes at my house. Nothing interesting, believe me. And I think that's why Holy Spirit touched me at that moment, because I was doing something so, unimportant. It was just me and the cat. And I was, drying dishes. He was chilling. It actually was, a moment of relative peace, which was kind of scarce at the moment. And I'm convinced that this is the energy that Jesus had going on with him, when he was working miracles. I don't think he had it all of the time. But I mean, I don't know. He is so mysterious, so much has been lost, from his life, about his life. But when he was working miracles, God was charging him and helping him. I think he was just allowing himself to be the conduit for God's healing energy and light, right? Because it absolutely exists, guys. I mean, think about it. Think about the ability that we have to do harm. We can do it pretty easily, pretty powerfully, if we want to. It's a lot harder to heal people from pain. It's a lot harder to create healing from your own pain, from nothing, less than nothing. That's what we're doing here, guys. I mean, you are so immaculate. You really are. People like Howard Storm are really showing the way. He had a tremendously difficult, life and upbringing and stuff. And he, even though he was a bit of a nasty guy, he managed to make something of himself and make something out of his abusive background. And he became an art teacher, a good one. Tenured art professor, right? Then he suffered a death on an art trip with his students, and then he suffered a horrendous near-death experience, a hellish one, where he was essentially dragged to the darkest abyss imaginable and torn apart, turned into roadkill. So after all of that, then he's finally visited by Jesus and told he has to come back. Which, can you imagine the torture of that statement alone, after all the decades and years of pain and torture he'd already endured, and the near-death, the hellish near-death experience. Yeah, guys, if you haven't gotten his book, get his audiobook on Audible, My Descent into Death. This guy is so mystical. He definitely got very close to Jesus during his near-death experience and was sent back here for a reason. He's doing, interviews and radio shows and television shows, and he also became a pastor. He quit being an art professor. And this happens consistently with these near-death experiencers. They will completely change their lives, their professions. One woman, she quit being a lawyer. She was, a good lawyer in the Midwest at a prestigious firm. She stopped being a lawyer, which she apparently loved, actually, loved practicing law, to become an author, full-time author. And I've read several of her books. You cannot just make this stuff up, guys. The information is so refined and interesting and useful. I mean, if this were just the ramblings of a crazy woman, it wouldn't be interesting. It wouldn't be useful. It would just be, insane, unreadable drivel. Right? Oh, I'm trying to think. There was another guy, he quit being a financier. Another guy quit being a cop because they get so much information from the other side and from the experience. Oh, man. Well, guys, okay. I think that's complete for now. I love you. Bye.